I predicted a 10-2 season for Tennessee. I think you did too. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we both went 10-2, and we might have both went 10-2. Loss at
No, I think I went 11-1.
Yeah, you went
didn't I?
11-1.
Yeah, with
That's
just
right.
the Georgia loss.
And so I actually think this is a great thing to do then. So I said 10-2, and the losses were to Oklahoma, actually, at Oklahoma. And after watching them play Houston next week, that may change. And then to Georgia, and I think yours was just at Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll ask you this. We've seen sort of the proof of concept. Now, has your feeling changed at all? Do you feel completely validated about that 11-1? Where are you at, Zach?
Yeah, I mean, I think I feel more comfortable about it. I mean, that's still going to be a really tough challenge. You still have to beat some good teams. Oklahoma on the road, Alabama. I'm still not sure what a lot of these teams are. I think that's the problem early in the season is I don't really know what Alabama is yet. I don't know what Oklahoma is yet. Florida's always scary because of the backup quarterback situation, which is going to be in play when they play Florida. I still feel like I would go 11-1. It's not enough for me to change it though, and say they're going to beat Georgia in Athens. Georgia's still really good. They looked really good against Clemson. So I would stick with 11-1 for now. I haven't seen enough. You go handle Oklahoma on the road. I know it's a night game. We found that out today, so that's gonna be a tough environment. You have to take the crowd out of it early. But if you can handle them like you did at LSU in 2022, then maybe my tune changes on that just a little bit. Just Tennessee hasn't really won a huge night game on the road yet under Heupel. I mean, they beat Kentucky last year. That's Kentucky. You're supposed to be Kentucky. But, they haven't done well in those spots yet. But if you can do that against Oklahoma, we see what Georgia does later in the season. Maybe I'll feel differently about it. But for now, I'll stick with the 11-1.
Absolutely. I think that's a real, the real test for this season. You go and you take apart Oklahoma, you'll be probably favored against Alabama. You should definitely beat Arkansas. I got a little worried over the weekend in the first half of that Arkansas game. They looked pretty good, and then they looked not good all in the same game.
I like Sam Pittman, and they're usually pretty competitive, but they're just not going to have the depth, I don't think, to stay with Tennessee.
It'll probably, I don't know that it will be as bad as that NC State game, but I think eventually they run out of gas. It's exactly what happened against Oklahoma State. They just eventually ran out of gas. They just didn't have it for 4 full quarters. So so the real question for me, will I bump it up to 11-1? And I'll say, as of now, yes, I think I will, because I mean, look, Oklahoma stunk against Houston. I don't think they're going to be that bad in a night game in Norman, with the hype of that Tennessee game behind them. At the same time, they're playing a dude just as young as Nico. They were in the same class. Nico, was Jackson Arnold number 2, number 3, number 4 quarterback?
I think he's a 5-star or close to it.
He's
pretty highly rated.
Yeah, he was right up there. He doesn't look as good as Nico. His offensive line is not as good as Tennessee's. And maybe I'm giving away the preview we'll do next week, but for right now, we'll see how everybody looks this weekend, because Oklahoma has to play Tulane, and Tulane very nearly beat Kansas State this weekend. I watched
team.
Yeah, I watched a good chunk of that game on the old Multiview, and watch out. I will say that they should be better than Houston. You almost lost to Houston, so right now, with the assessment that we've seen through 2 weeks, it's 11-1 for me for Tennessee, and we can keep tabs on that, but I'll say that for now. It's just the primary element that does scare me is that night game on the road, extremely tough environment. They're going to be hyped out of their mind, and maybe unless they lose, they actually do end up losing to Tulane, and that might change things. But
Tulane,
yeah.
But one thing that gives me pause about that game is the fact that staff is really familiar with Josh Heupel. Brent Venables, Seth Littrell, the Oklahoma's offensive coordinator, DeMarco Murray, played under Heupel. But at the same time, Heupel's evolved so much since he left Oklahoma. Like, the coach he is now, he was not at Oklahoma. He was running Bob Stoops' offense, essentially, at Oklahoma. He wasn't really doing what he wanted to do. He kind of referenced that in a roundabout way today. Like over the last decade, this is kind of who we've been. And the last decade is since he left Oklahoma. So I don't know how much that will come into play, but that is like the only thing is just the familiarity between the coaching staff there at Oklahoma and Heupel.
I hope that that's not a big factor, and that Heupel has plenty of tricks up his
And
sleeve.
Gabriel's right. That insider intel does go both ways.
It does. It definitely does. And I like his. He says Texas undefeated, Georgia and Tennessee have one loss, and Georgia plays Texas in the SEC championship game and beats Texas. And then he says, "It's not what I want, but I think it's the most likely."
That'd be a good scenario for Tennessee. I think they're in the playoff. Obviously,
that'd be perfect.
Scenario, yeah.
Yeah, if you're asking me, I mean, obviously, I would love to win an SEC championship, but if that's not going to be the case, that's absolutely perfect because I think you'd end up being what 6 seed, 7 seed, something like that, which is a home
which
game.
you host, yeah.
Yeah, you'd host a home game in the playoff. That'd be a ton of fun. And so, I think that would be fine. I did see
Texas impressed me. I mean, they were better against Michigan. Not that I thought Michigan was going to be Michigan like last year, but that was a good performance by Texas.
Yes, they Quinn Ewers has gotten better year over year. He's an impressive dude.
Sark's a good coach.
He is. Unfortunately, I wish Texas wasn't good, but I think they might actually be. But Billy Bob says 90% chance of rain. I think he's referring to this coming Saturday.
I'd say that'd be a long way out to forecast rain for Norman, Oklahoma.
I did see.
Ooh, that could be yeah.
WVLT, official station of the Vols or whatever. I think that's what they call themselves.
If it's pouring down rain, we're keep Nico in the dorm somewhere, his off-campus apartment, wherever. Like you don't even need the stadium.
No point. They say 40% chance of rain, so hopefully it stays there. I think it's due to that hurricane or whatever's coming. I saw some of that today on Twitter timeline.
It's about time of year. Usually LSU or Florida has a game moved because of a hurricane.
Yep. And I was going to say if it hits this weekend, I don't know exactly when it's supposed to, but LSU, that's at South Carolina. Yeah, game day is going to be there. What an absolutely middling game day game. Just
yeah.
I mean, LSU, are they still ranked in the top 25? I think they might be.
I don't know.
17th or something. But I mean,
South Carolina's fool's gold win against Kentucky.
Dude, did you see Beamer's press conference after that? Where he's like, I don't know the exact verbiage he used, but he was like, I tried to tell you that we got a young team and we're going to grow every single week. We're going to get better. And shut up. Shut your mouth. Kentucky sucks.
He does have a really good defensive end there, a 5-star.
He does.
I can't remember his name, but that guy's legit. He's an NFL player.
Yes, I do agree with that. 100%. That kid is very good. He just doesn't have those guys stacked up on top of each other like Tennessee does. And Tennessee doesn't even play them this season, so we won't get to prove that out.